and gentlemen of the press, since I assumed office, I have worked closely with His Excellency Simba Arati. This was informed by the desire to share policy, ideas that will make our great county soar to greater heights, and the fact that we were both elected under the ODM party. However, as they say, the proof of the pudding is in the eating. Fast forward, the governor has proved to be clueless and incompetent in running county affairs. For instance, since his assumption of office, he has systematically sabotaged all constitutional county offices. We have only 2 CECs and 2 chief officers who hold briefs for the governor, and the rest have been rendered useless. The Kisii County Public Service Board and all independent boards, including hospitals and bursary boards, are all just but a conveyor belt of the governor's wishes. They are not working because they have been denied the independency to do so. The recent bursary exercise is a classical example. The governor hired non-gazetted people who doctored the bursaries as submitted from the ward committees. He also hired unknown individuals to deliver bursary forms for grade 10 without involvement of ward committees and MCS who represent and play an oversight role in the exercise, thus undermining the will of the people. Local contractors are denied opportunities, and those lucky are subjected to unrealistic kickbacks, and others denied payment, while the governor's proxies are irregularly paid upfront, as in the case of the Chinese contractor doing the county headquarters, a matter that was flagged by the Auditor General. The Auditor General also flagged the recently paraded machinery due to inflated prices, and ultimately stopping the acquisition of tippers which were overpriced. Once the management of the same machinery was contracted to a low proxy of the governor at a cost of more than 200 million. A competent governor will have strengthened the mechanical engineering and public works department of the county government to be in charge of the machinery and avoid this wastage and theft of county resources. County employees have been subjected to endless humiliation, public embarrassment, ridicule, arbitrary transfers, and illegal dismissal. We had a case of over 400 employees who were denied payment for over 2 years. Some succumbed to depression and some died. And I can mention one of the employees who died by the name Esther Akote. May her soul continue resting in peace. Where the governor's incompetency has dwindled the county's growth prospects, it is sad that our health sector, which was once a regional pride, is now on its knees. We have had a massive exodus of doctors, consultants, and nurses to other counties. Our hospitals are understaffed. This mess, and they go for months without pay, and there is no medicine in our healthy facilities. A classical example is where I was just recently, about 2 days ago, KTRH, where we don't have even consultants, we don't have doctors, we don't have medicine, and those even nurses who are just there putting a fake smile have not been paid for months now, extending even up at us to more than 3 months. Instead of handling this mess, the governor hides behind the cameras through stage-managed feasts to our facilities to fool our people that our health facilities are working. Unknown to many, the County Assembly appropriated money for employment of health workers and ECD teachers at the beginning of this financial year. Unfortunately, 11 months down the line, they have not been employed. The milk feeding program raises serious health and corruption concerns. KICC, which was initially paraded as the supplier of the milk, is no longer supplying milk. Milk is now being supplied by the Fresher company. Details on how quickly these supplies changed are scanty. Was KICC used as a decoy to fool our people, who is to be held responsible, God forbid, if there are health issues to our kids? As this happens, ECD classes in the county are in deplorable state. Attempts to advise the governor otherwise fell on a deaf ear. He lives in the Chunu kingdom where the leader reigns supreme. and this is some of the reasons I parted ways with him. Besides running all county operations from the Chunu Kingdom, whose headquarters are based at Motonto, the leader is notorious for persistent disrespects towards the deputy governor, members of the county assembly, the CECs, chief officers, and all county employees. The leader is a master of use and dump. He used and dumped professionals who believed in a transformative leadership in the county. Anybody seen as smart or intelligent is immediately cut to size to avoid exposing how incompetent the governor is. Serious minds like Dr. Demo Alfred were victimized and they ultimately resigned, while others like Dr. Timothy Arege, who is the current CEC for roads, are on the chopping board. He is already on the chopping board. Instead of the governor empowering the border sector, he is sowing seeds of violence against them. He used certain groupings to infiltrate the border sector. He uses them to fight unimagined enemies, thus tarnishing the good reputation of the border people. It is to fight. It is time the border sector stands up and says no to this misuse. Claim funds that were donated to Kisii border circle by the president through the governor and restore dignity and their reputation. While we take pride in Omogusi being a united people, the governor has persistently victimized the Abagetutu clan simply because the sin they committed is to give the first governor of Kisii County. He is known to treat Abagetutu with contempt to him, and every person from Bogetutu is a thief. It is in the public domain that the MCAs have been in the receiving end of this clueless leadership. They are systematically sidelined, ridiculed, and some even had their cars fundraised, and I hope everybody remembers this, by the same Derrida goons. Undermining elected leaders is disregarding the will of the people they represent, to say the least. The county assembly is weaponized. An MCA who does not bow to Chunu Kingdom is removed from all assembly committees and their allowances cut. The aim is to ensure that the MCAs have no money so that they can continue to be beggars at Motonto and to continue to appease the leader. One of the key responsibilities of MCAs is oversight. We have had regular instances where budgets passed by the assembly are altered and projects for both perceived enemies and friendly MCAs are dropped by the leader. My Ichuni people are victims of this illegal alteration of the budget. For instance, the Gesabakwa Stadium, which was contracted and awarded, but later the money was irregularly removed from the budget, prompting the contractor to stop the works. 14 water tanks of 10,000 liters capacity were also irregularly removed from the budget. This removal of projects after going through the assembly is illegal, and I call upon the Office of the Controller of Budget to look into this matter. Our county's growth prospects has dwindled. Local businesses are closing down. Our markets are in a deplorable state, and our towns are dirty, including the town of Keroka, where I come from. All these social and economic atrocities committed in the Chunu Kingdom feature the leader for the obvious reason. We have a clueless governor with no academic credentials to run a county. We impeached Monda, who now looks a saint compared to Governor Simba Arati. We therefore need to send Governor Simba Arati home even before 2027, and the conversation starts now. Finally, every generation parts its leader. Those who came before us parted and fronted Nyachae to run for president. While he lost, the Omogusi community showed all friends and adversaries that we are a united community that doesn't forsake our own. Our generation has now pathed Matiang'i, a Garand son who has now set his eyes on the presidency. It is important to note that the people we represent have time and again asked that to fully support Matiang'i, a call that the governor has refused to heed. How then can we elected leaders continue to disregard the opinion of the very people we represent? How can we watch as the governor goes around the country spewing foul insults to Matiang'i. He even organized goons to fight Matiang'i during his recent political rally in the region, and then goes on to say he will support him once he has been given the ticket. Why not help him clinch the ticket now? The governor has mastered the art of speaking from both sides of his mouth, and this political harlotry must be called out. It's unfortunate that the governor Simba and the Derila have time and again belittled Kisii leaders led by Matiang'i and Senator Onyonga, called them names, and posted that they have the financial muscle to fight a leader who doesn't agree with them. We have all seen how this superiority complex and fights brought insecurity and political animosity in our county. Your Excellency, a fly that does not heed advice follows the corpse to the grave. The grave is yonder. To reclaim the lost glory of Kisii County and restore integrity in governance, decisive action is required. The continued dominance of the leader in county affairs must be called out and brought to an end. We invite the leader to run for governorship and stop using His Excellency Arati as a decoy. County employees being summoned to Ichuni Kingdom at odd hours must end. It's also important to know that only county ministers and chief officers with real authority are Nyakweba, Eric, Mienda, Okioi, and Vincent Nyangwara. The rest are just there to be seen and not to be heard. The disrespect towards Matiang'i, whom the Omusi has chosen as their spokesperson, must end. And His Excellency Arati, together with the leader, they are doing this simply because they just want to sabotage Matiang'i's presidency in 2027 so that Simba Arati can stand or else can run for presidency in 2032. There cannot be two masters in one house. Omogusi deserve one voice, one center of authority, and one clear path to progress. The reign of Ichuni Kingdom by the leader using Governor Simba Arati as a decoy must end. God bless Kisii County. God bless Kenya. Thank you. Third question. Monda just committed one sin. And you know, because I know all of you followed the proceedings of his impeachment right from the Kisii County Assembly all the way to the Senate. The reason as to why I regret is this. Why could we send Monda home by just committing one sin, and yet we have someone in office who has committed multiple sins and who still continue to steal from the multitude? And that's why we were very keen in my statement. I said that it now appears that Monda is now a saint when you compare Simba Arati with Monda. I just want to say that I was not promised anything. Then we MCs, we were just playing oversight role. But it seemingly looks like we were being used. Because you've seen from my statement and from my experience with the association of the Ichuni Kingdom, it simply means that if anybody who does not agree with the leader, they must look, even if it's either to set you on a trap or not, they must look a mistake for you so that they can be able to send you home. And what I'm saying is this: it appears that as the assembly, in as much as all we heard all those material facts, it seems that there was someone who was behind it. And I can say, because I cannot fear anything, the person who was funding the impeachment process all through from the assembly to the Senate is none other than the leader. And at the appropriate time, those facts will come into the public. It's just now that we have just started. It's just a first step. Going forward, we'll continue telling our people what happened, who played what, who did what, until the people of Kisii exactly understand what happened.
You have spoken about corruption.
What I can say is that I have never seen a thief like Simba Arati. Simba Arati is someone who comes to you by the day and tells you that he has stopped all corruption things, all the stealing in the county. But I want to inform the people of Kisii that it is only the county employees who are being staffed and suffocated. But everything that is done by, we have seen, it's out here. We've seen contractors saying that they have been asked kickbacks. I've got contractors who can come and stand and say that prior to them being awarded contracts, they were asked for kickbacks as high as 30%. And where does that money go to? Is that stopping or else fighting corruption, or is just that by the day we are fighting corruption and by the night we are sleeping with corruption in the bed? Outside here, initially I never used to believe that that can happen, but now I've seen it and I can attest to it that it is happening. So Simba is a saint by the day, but a very dangerous target by the night, and through the pen using the leader.
Last question.
Categorical in my praise that it's high time that we kickstart the conversation, and I think this is the right time. And I believe that I have people and my colleagues in the county assembly, we will now have to sit down and see whether we are doing exactly what we were elected to do. Not once, the governor has kept repeatedly saying that one of the fundamental roles, and that is what is enshrined in the law or in the constitution, is that the MCAs are supposed to oversight. But you can see clearly again that the governor himself does not want to be oversighted by the very MCAs whom he says that one of their key functions and roles in the assembly is to oversight. But I'm happy that the majority of our colleagues, because I've been in constant communication with a good number of them, they have seen the light and they are ready to play their oversight role as written in the constitution.